Hello everyone, welcome back to my class. So in our previous video we have started the second chapter of history, that is from hunting, gathering to growing foods, and there we have already completed some few topics. You can check out those on my previous video, and if you like it, hit the like button as well. So today in our today's lecture, in this today's video, we are going to start new topic, that is before starting a new topic, that is we are going to start a changing environment. But before starting that, we will discuss the names and dates which is given in the box on page number 15. So we'll discuss about these names and dates. Here basically what we are going to discuss is about the periods, about the Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, in how many groups they were being divided. Okay, here we are going to understand the about the periods basically, and after that we'll start the new topic. So let's begin. See, archaeologists have given lengthy names for the time that we are studying. They are called the earliest people the Paleolithic. See, they call the earliest people as the Paleolithic. This came from two Greek words, paleo meaning old and lithos meaning stone. So here paleo it means old, and lithos it means lithos it means stone. So here we basically, you can also say old stone age. The earliest people, like which they were there from around 20 lakhs years ago, that is around 2 million years ago. So that period is been named as Paleolithic. By whom? By the archaeologist. The name points to the importance of finds of stone tools. See, this name is given on the this name is given according to the tools which are being found from that very period. That it was because many stone tools were found during those periods. So that is why they have given the term lithos here, which means stone. The Paleolithic period extends from 2 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. So this again extends from 2 millions. 2 millions means 20 lakh years ago to 12,000 years ago. This long stretch of time is divided into the lower, middle and upper Paleolithic. So this time period from 2 millions to 12,000 years ago, this time period is been divided into three parts, that is lower, middle and upper Paleolithic. This long span of time covers 99% of human history. So this Paleolithic age, okay, this stone age, you can say, this was one of the longest time period of human history, where the earliest people were still like hunter gatherers, and slowly they started shifting towards herdings and farmings. But mostly here during this period, during this Paleolithic age, they were all hunters and gatherers only. So this whole period covers about 99% of human history as well. It is a very long period, it is a very long span, isn't it? So the period when we find environmental change. So after that there was a shift in the environment, there was a change in the climatic condition as well. We will study here that in this chapter. So from that time period, these earliest people, they started learning about farming, they started learning about rearing animals, they started learning about herders, they started living into one place, settling into one place. So that time period, these things all happened because of as there was an environmental change. Beginning about 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago is called the Mesolithic, that is the middle stone age. Okay, you can say middle stone age. See, this is not a very long period of time. Like for example, here you can see that is from 12 million years to 12,000 years ago, but here it is from about 12,000 years ago till 10,000 years ago, and this name is given as Mesolithic. Meso here means middle, okay, middle, and lithic means stone. So middle age, middle stone age period, you can say. Stone tools found during these periods are generally tiny and are called microliths. So stone tools which are found during this period were tiny as compared to the stone tools which were found in the Paleolithic time. It was more sophisticated and it was more smaller. That means now these human beings of this time, they started learning making making sophisticated tools out of these stone tools, making them more sharp. They started making the edges more sharp and pointed, which will be easier for them to use. They started learning all those things they have learned. Microliths were probably stuck on the handles of bones or woods to make tools such as saws, sieves. At the same time, older variety tools continued to be in use. So here microliths, okay, these stone tools which were probably smaller in size. So these tools were made up of stones, yes, but their handles, okay, their handles were made up of basically made up of bones, okay, bones and woods. At the same time, the older varieties of tools continued to be in use, but it doesn't mean that they have give up using the older variety of tools, okay. They were still using those older variety of tool as well, okay, but here the tools became more sophisticated and more change, okay. There was a change on the shape and size of the tool. So the next stage from about 10,000 years ago is known as the Neolithic. See, after that, okay, the Mesolithic age was from 12,000 years to 10,000 years, but the next stage here, it was from about 10,000 years ago, is known as the Neolithic age. See, what does Neolithic means? From the above two time period, what we came to know, one was old, another was middle, so this is new. It means new, okay, new stone age. New, lithic means stone, so here new stone age period. Okay, we have also mentioned the names of some places. You will find the names of many more places in the later chapters. Very often we use present day names of the places where people lived in the past because we do not know what they call them. Okay, we are going to learn more about these time periods, why these boxes been given here, to give you an idea, okay, to give you an idea like how the time was been divided by the archaeologists when they studied about these earliest people. So here what we came to know that the time was basically divided into three periods. That was, first was Paleolithic age, second was Mesolithic age, and third was the Neolithic age. So I hope you have understood this topic. We'll move to the next topic now, that is a changing environment, okay, a changing environment. Okay, around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climates of the world, with a shift to relatively warm condition. In many areas, this led to the development of grassland. This in turn led to an increase in the number of deer, antelopes, goat, sheep, cattle, that is animal that survived on grass. See, now what happens under this topic, a changing environment? See, this is the second half of our chapter. If you see the name of the chapter, that is from hunting, gathering to growing food. So until now we have covered the hunting and gathering part, okay. Now what these people will learn, now as there was a change of environment, now these people their lifestyle will be changed, okay. Their lifestyle will be changed from hunting, gathering to farmers and herders. So now we are going to see that transitional period, as I've already mentioned in my previous video, like in this chapter we are going to see the transition between transition of these earliest people from hunter gatherers to growing food. So here from this topic we are going to see how, okay, and what were the reasons that they have shifted towards this new transition, towards this new, you can also say, occupation, okay. Now they will start living a settled life, and what were the reasons behind that, okay. We will learn about all those things here in this topic. So here the very first paragraph states that there was a change, okay, about 12,000 years ago. That means from around the Mesolithic time, isn't it? From around the Mesolithic period, we can say that there was a change. there was a change in the environment. Okay, there was a change in the environment, on the climatic condition of the earth. And it was usually believed that before, okay, it was before, like in the earliest time, the earth was not as warm as it is today. Today, if you consider, now it is like it has across all the limits, isn't it? Now the summer, this time it is more hotter than, the summer are becoming more and more hotter than more and more hotter every year. And this year it has already crossed 50 degree, 50 degree of temperature. So it is becoming more harsh. But and it has been believed that in the earliest time, okay, the it was all iced. Okay, the earth was covered with ice and it was freezing, and it was not as warm as it is today. But today it is very warm. But again, this, from this time period, from 12,000 years ago, okay, there was a shift in the condition and there was a warm condition. And whenever there is a warm condition, what happened? When those ice started melting, okay, those ice started melting, and what happens on the portion where it was covered with ice, as it was becoming warm, now grassland started growing. Okay, now grasses started growing on that very area. And this, when there is a increase in grassland, what happens? There will be increase in the number of animal which are survived on grass. That is, there was an increase in the number of deer, antelope, goats. Antelope is also a type of deer only. It is from the family of deer only. And goat, sheep and cattle, these are basically those animal which survived on grass, by which means, that means which survive only by eating grasses. So again, this was an again new opportunity for again human beings. Okay, for the human beings. What happened now? As there was an increase in number of these animals, their food also increases. See, as we have seen that people of those time used to eat all these things. They used to hunt and they used to eat. So they started. It was a more. It was a store of food for them. Okay, now more food was available for them, more food was available. But what happens with this increase of this animal? They started learning about them. Okay, they started learning about the human beings started learning about their food habits. Okay, we will see in this second paragraph. Those who hunted these animals now followed them, learning about their food habits and their breeding seasons. So now, as there was an increase in number, there was plenty of food for them. So now what they do, the human beings started observing. Okay, now they started observing and they started learning about this animal. What does this animal eat? When do they when do they breed, means when do they give birth to their young ones? What are the seasons? In a year, how many times they give birth to young ones, and what they usually eat? So when they observed that, okay, these are dependent on grass, they started rearing. Okay, they started rearing this animal. They started rearing these animals. Okay, it is likely that this helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals themselves. Fishing also become important. So when they observe everything, when they analyze everything, now what came into the mind of human beings? See, as human being, they are being considered as the most intelligent among the, like, it is also from an animal family, but they are being considered as an intelligent, isn't it? They use their brain. So by using their brain, during those time also of these earliest people also, thought that, okay, we can rear these animals and we can keep these keep these for our future use, we can eat them on future. And what happens when they started rearing cow? Also started giving, cow gives us milk, isn't it? Cow, goat, they give us milk. Those milk also started becoming a source for this human being. And apart from that, they also, this fishing also became important. As there was a change in the condition of the climate, change in the condition, it becomes warm. So all the ice which were there covered with ice, they started melting and they become water, isn't it? They started flowing into the streams. So now what happened? Fishes also increases because of that reason. So again, fishing also started becoming an important, like fishing also started becomes important, and the people started eating fish as well. Okay, this was about this changing environment. I hope you have understood. If you have any queries or anything, you can always ask, okay, in the comment section. So next topic that we are going to see here is the beginning of farming and herding. All right, the beginning of farming and herding. So now in this way people, okay, now people started, as there was a change in environment, people started learning about their food habits, they started analyzing everything. What this was the transitional period for them from hunter gatherers to farmers and herders. Okay, now when they become farmers and herders, it was difficult for them to move from places to places. So now they start remain in one place. Okay, they started staying in one place, and they started rearing them, and they started also, now they also came to know about some natural grains. Okay, here we are going to see about that. Let us see. This was also a time when several grains bearing grasses including wheat, barley and rice grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. So now as there was a change in the climatic condition, now what happens with the growth of the grassland, okay, with the growth of grasses, now some other natural grasses which gives wheat, okay, wheat, barley means jaw, okay, wheat, barley and rice, they started growing naturally, okay, on different parts of this subcontinent. Men, women and children probably collected these grains as foods and learned where they grew, when they ripened. So now men, women, children, everyone, they started noticing about these grains as well, and they see, okay, these grains, it will look little different, isn't it? These grasses, it will look little different, it will be little taller and it will be more sturdy and strong as compared to the other grass. And they also observe, okay, what these grasses is bearing, and when they started observing about it, they collected it, they cooked it, okay, and they cooked it, and when they start eating it, they came to know, okay, yes, we can eat these as well. So that in this way they remain in one place. Okay, they started remaining in one place for a longer period of time, and they do not roam around like a previous life which they had for hunting or for gathering foods. Now food, they started knowing more availability of food around them. Okay, this may have led them to think about growing plants on their own. In this way people became farmers. So this, when they observe about these grains, so this led people think, okay, this led them think that, okay, we can grow our own plants. So from one grain, okay, from one sheet they will be growing, isn't it, and from that one sheet thousands of grains will be available. So they now started growing their plants on their own, and in this way they become farmer. This way people becomes farmer. So this was the shift from this hunting gathering to farming, and from again farming, and again from when they become farmer, they also started taming animals, they also started rearing animals, and they become herders. So they become farmers and herders from hunters and gatherers. I hope you have understood. People could also attract and then tamed animals by leaving food for them near their shelters. So now they started, okay, they started knowing the idea like how they are going to attract animals. Okay, they started leaving food for them near their shelters where they are staying, and these animals, they used to come near them, and the animals which were more gentle, for example dog was been considered as the first animal which was been tamed by human beings, okay, which were more gentle like cattle, goat, sheep, they started rearing them. Taming means like they started domesticating them. Okay, we'll learn about this term domestication also. The first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of the dog. See, wild ancestor, because previously, okay, previously it was the dog, obviously they were roaming around in the jungle, so their nature was wild, okay, and they were bigger in size as well as compared to today's dog. The wild dogs, okay, the wild dogs are bigger in size, because when they are being looked after by human being, they become gentle, and with the change of environment, their genetics also changes, okay, their shape, their body sizes also change. This happens with human being also. Okay, we human being also, when in the earliest people, it has been believed, okay, it has been believed that they were very tall, they were very sturdy, they were tall for about 8 inch, okay, 5.8, like they were not 5.8, sorry, they were 8 feet tall, okay, 8 feet tall, very strong. Their teeth, okay, their teeth were very strong, that is why they were able to eat the raw meats, okay, they were able to tear the flesh. But what happens now? we have all variety of foods, everything is available now, but we are not that very strong, because we are not struggling to find foods from here and there. We are not roaming. We don't need to go through the jungle. We don't need to face dangers, but during those times they need to face dangers and all that environment help them to grow more and more stronger and become very strong, so that they can protect themselves. So there was an evolution, isn't it? Evolution in the human beings, we say there is an evolutionary process in the human beings. So that same way there was an evolution in these dogs as well. Later, people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle to come near the camps where they lived. So these animals such as sheep, goats, cattle and also the pig lived in herds, and most of them ate grasses. So what happens now? Now people, as they learn that okay, we can rear this gentle animal who doesn't do any harm to us, who are gentle towards us. So they encourage animal, for example like cattle, goat, pigs, okay, and they started rearing them and they started herding them. And most of these animals which they herd, okay, which they rear, we can say which they rear, they ate grasses. And often people protected these animals from attack by other wild animals. So what happens when these animals started living with them, the people started protecting these animals. Why they protect these animals? Because they know that this is a store of food for them, isn't it? Store of food for them in the future, for the future, and they give them milk also. So in that way they started protecting them. So this is the reason how they became herders. So now we came to know the reason how they become farmers and how they become hunters. So this was the transitional period, okay, this phase, this around 12,000 years ago, okay, this was the transitional phase from where they become farmers and herders from hunters and gatherers. I hope you have understood. Okay, there is a question here, you can answer this. Can you think of any reason why the dog was perhaps the first animal to be tamed? Can you think of any reason? See, it has been considered, it has been believed that dogs are more socialized, like dogs and dolphin, isn't it? Dolphin also, they are more socialized and they learn to stay with human being very quickly, and they have they are emotionally attached also. You can see many of them in today's in this today's day, in this present day, you can see many people they have dogs. More than 50% of the people they have dog, isn't it? And they used to take care of them just like their children also. So that's why, because dogs are considered, they are more socialized, they are very loyal, isn't it? So that might be the reason. These are the reasons which have been given by me. If you have some other reasons, you can comment down, I'll see it. Okay. So here, okay, this term domestication, we have been learning that herding animals, isn't it? So what does this domesticate means? How people do it? Let us see what is the difference between these wild animals and the domesticated animals. How their body is, how there is a change in their shape of the body, not only body, their teeth. See here, a picture is given here. If you can see here, a picture is given where you can see that two types of teeth. These are teeth, okay, this is the first type and this is the second type. This is a teeth of a wild animal, okay, wild animals which live in the forest, and this is the teeth of a pig. I think this is the, yes, I think it is the pig, teeth of a pig which is been reared by animal, which has been hurt by human beings. So here let us see, domestication is the name given to the process in which people grew plants and looked after animals. See, domestication means, it doesn't only mean that when you look after animals, it means when you look after plants as well. Okay, when, see, now people, this human being, they become farmers. So now they started looking after plants also. Okay, they started learning about the fertilization as well. They started learning about, okay, what, when they give certain fertilization, these plants will grow faster. At that time there was no chemical fertilization, okay, there were only natural fertilization. Domestication is the name given to the process in which people grow plants and look after animals. Very often plants and animals that are tended by people become different from wild plants and animals. This is because people select plants and animals for domestication. For example, they select those plants and animals that are not prone to disease. See, when people start domesticating, they will be selecting the best variety of plants. So this make the difference between the wild plants, okay, plants which are grown in the jungle and the forest, all right, and plants which are been tamed, which are been domesticated by human beings, because they'll be looking after it, they'll be watering them time to time, they'll be giving them fertilizers, they will make sure that those leaves are not eaten away by insects and all. So they'll be looking after it. They also select plants that yields large size grain and have strong stalks capable of bearing the weight of the ripe grains. And apart from that, they will be also selecting plant which are of larger size and which will give larger grain. And they'll be selecting a plant for example, if they wanted to harvest some rice plant, they'll be selecting stems which are more harder, so, okay, with seeds which are much larger in size, so that their stems will also be larger and more rice will be ripened there, more grains will be ripened there. Seeds from selected plants are preserved and sown to ensure that new plants and seeds will have the same quality. So what they do here, they will be selecting seeds, okay, they will be selecting seeds which are of a very fine quality, and from the new plants also which were of very good quality, so that the seeds will also give results in that seed will also give result in good quality of grains for them. All right, so this was about the plant. Now let us see about this animal, how this domesticated about animals. Among animals, those that are relatively gentle are selected for breeding, as we have already discussed, isn't it? Among animals, those who are relatively gentle, those will not harm the human beings, okay, those will not bite or eat away human beings, these are been selected for breeding. Because see, goat will not eat away human beings, deer are cattle are not deer, cattle will not eat away human beings, dogs will not eat away. What they can do, they can only bite, but they were not going to eat. So they were for example, you cannot domesticate tiger. Can you imagine of domesticating tiger or lion? No, isn't it? Because they will eat up the person who has been domesticated, until and unless the person is very professional in this present day. But during those time, no such facility or anything was available, so they will be selecting the one who are very gentle by nature. As a result, gradually domesticated animals and plants become different from wild animals and plants. So this makes the difference, okay, this makes the difference. When human beings started looking after them, they become more gentle, okay. There was change in their genetical shape as well, there was change in the body shape, there was evolution. Okay, when you see a wild pig, about pig also, when you see a wild pig and the pig which has been reared by the human being, you can see the difference, isn't it? The wild pig looks very strong, their skins are very rough and tough, but the one that pig, those which are been reared by people, they are very soft and they are very lazy, they don't do anything, like they will be sleeping whole day, people will be serving them food, they'll be eating, again sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping, that is the only thing they used to do. But here the wild animal, they cannot eat and sleep, they have to search for their food. So while searching for their foods, they are struggling, so when they struggle, they become more strong, okay. And there is a naturally difference on their skin texture, everything, isn't it? Bones and all. When human beings also work very hard, they become very strong and sturdy. But when we are not working, when we are just sleeping, we don't do anything, we become very soft and fragile, and we are more prone to disease also. That is why it has been recommended that we need to do exercise, yoga, all these things, okay, in order to keep ourselves healthy. Okay, that was a different part. Let us come back to our topic. So for example, the teeth and horn of wild animals are usually much larger than those of domesticated animals. See, as I have already told in the beginning, here look at these two set of teeth. Which do you think belongs to a wild pig and which to a domestic one? See, from this what we can see, this is the teeth which belongs to a domesticated one, and this is the teeth which belongs to a wild one, wild teeth. See, the shape, size, everything is different, isn't it? This is the domesticated one and this is the wild one. Okay, now let us see the definition of domestication here. Sorry for that. Okay, domestication was a gradual process. Okay, domestication was a gradual process that took place in many parts of the world. It began about 12,000 years ago. See, farming also began about 12,000 years ago. Why? Because there was a change in the environment. So this domestication also happened in that very period, isn't it? Virtually all the plants and animals produced that we use as food today is a result of domestication. See, in case if there was no domestication and in case there was no change in the climatic condition of the earth, who knows, even today also we might be leading the life of hunters or gatherers. There might be no change, but there is a change. But see, change is very necessity in order to develop yourself, isn't it? In order to develop one's life. If there is no change, there will be no growth in life as well. So there was a change, and through that change what happens? Domestication happens. The term domestication came, it happens, and the food that we are getting even today, see, farming, because of farmer only we get varieties of vegetables, we get varieties of rice, and today we have in rice also we have brown rice, white rice, black rice, isn't it? There are so many variety of rice. If this was not domesticated, then we will not have any kind of variety. Virtually all the plants and animal produce that we use today food is a result of domestication. Yes, some of the earliest plant to be domesticated were, okay, these were the earliest plants which were domesticated. Okay, wheat and barley. The earliest domesticated animal include sheep and goats. So among animals, the earliest domesticated animals were sheep and goat, and among plant, the earliest domesticated plants were wheat and barley. So I hope you have understood this term domestication. So in our today's class, what we have covered the topic a changing environment. Before that, what we have done, we have learned about the names and dates, the history, the how history was been divided by the archaeologists. It is divided into three parts: Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. And after that we learn about the changing environment, how people became farmers and how they become these herders. Okay, the beginning of farming and herding. And after that we have understood this term domestication. All right, so we'll do till here in our today's this lecture. In our next video we'll start with this new topic, a new way of life. Now see, as there was already a shift, isn't it, from hunting gathering to farming and herders. So now a new way of life started. Now there will be more development, cities will start developing, villages, there will be villages, cities, slowly the development that we have today, it is all the result of this process only. So in our next class we will see about the new way of life, how people lived, and we'll find about the first farmers and herders as well. If you remember, in our chapter 1 we found that there were some sites in the Vindhyas and Garo hills where agricultural grains were found, isn't it? Evidence of agriculture was found. So we will see a more closer look about it, okay, where this farming was done first, about the sites, we'll learn about the sites, okay, and where so we'll learn these things in our next class. Okay, thank you everyone for listening to me. I hope you have understood today's class. If you have any doubt or any query, you can always ask in the comment section. I'll be very happy to reply your queries. And if you like my video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel, and please share with your friends as well. Okay, all of you have a very nice day ahead, and take care.